Greetings and welcome to GamezMadeEZ. I'm Dan Z. Today we look at the two-player game, The Duke. Each player plays rival dukes contesting each other for unclaimed lands so they can become the ruler and enforce their own laws. Use your forces to capture enemy troops before you lose your opportunity to use these lands for your own. Which duke will come out victorious? Let's open the box and find out. To set up, place the board in the center of the play area and have each player sit opposite each other. One claims this bag of light pieces, while the other gets this bag of darker pieces. Each will empty their bag of units and separate out their duke and two footman pieces. These are the Duchess and the Oracle. They are considered enchanted tiles and possess powers beyond the basic rules. Decide on whether you want to play with them and either place them back in the bag or return them to the box. With the Duke and Footman aside, place all remaining units back in the bag. The randomly picked first player places their Duke in one of the two center spaces in the row closest to them, making sure to place it starting side up. The starting side is the side containing the black pawn in the center. The inverted color pawn is considered the non-starting side. Also make sure that all your units are always placed to have their titles closest to you. Once the Duke is placed, the two footmen must be placed in spaces adjacent to the Duke. These are the spaces that share sides with the Duke, and thus diagonal spaces are not adjacent. Make sure again to place them starting side up and with the title closest to you. The second player then places their Duke and footmen following the same rules. They do not have to place their units to match their opponents. With both sides having their starting units in place, your game is now set up. The Duke is won by the player who can capture the other player's Duke. Starting with the first player and going back and forth, each player takes one action. There are only two basic actions you can take: to move a unit or to place a new one. Placing a new unit is simply done by randomly drawing a unit tile from the bag and placing it in any empty space adjacent to your Duke. Remember that adjacent spaces are only the four spaces sharing an edge with the Duke. If all four spaces are occupied, be it by other units or the edge of the board, then you are not allowed to add new units at this time. Any new unit placed must have its starting side up and the title closest to you. More commonly, you will move units you have on the board. Each unit moves in a unique way. Luckily for us, the way each unit can move is shown on the unit tile themselves. There are 6 possible icons you'll encounter on your units. Let's go over how each one works. Black dots indicate a move. A unit may move into any space that shows a dot. A unit may never move into a space that contains one of their own units, but may move into a space containing an opponent's unit. By doing so, they capture that piece and it is removed from the board. If the dotted space is 2 spaces away, like on this general, but a unit is in the direct path of the movement, then the move is blocked and cannot be performed. This pikeman can't go to this space because it's occupied by one of his own units. It can't go to this space because that same unit is blocking the path to it. It may go into this space as it is empty, with no units blocking it. And it may even go into this space, for it's occupied by an opponent's piece. The opponent piece is captured and removed from the board. After any piece is used in any way, it is flipped over and the methods in which it can move next time changes. So this pikeman was able to move 2 spaces diagonally before, but now it can only move forward or backwards. If it's used again in later rounds, it is flipped and will return to its diagonal movement. Seeing a circle in a space stands for a jump. This means the unit can move directly to that space regardless of any other pieces in between the unit and the space. A unit cannot jump onto a friendly unit, but it can jump onto and capture opponent units. This champion can move to any of its adjacent spaces, but it can also jump to the spaces 2 spaces away, bypassing any pieces that may be adjacent. After jumping, the tile is flipped. Triangles in a space indicate a slide. This allows the piece to move as many spaces as you desire in the indicated direction. This movement is blocked by other units. If the other unit is an opponent's piece, it may be captured, but movement is stopped in that space. This ranger, for example, can move all the way across the board into this space and capture their opponent's unit, but must stop here and cannot also capture the duke. If the ranger had an allied unit here, then its path is blocked and would be unable to move at all. Remember, after any unit is used, it is flipped. Open triangles indicate a jump slide. With these, a unit first jumps onto the space containing the symbol. Remember, jumping ignores all units in between the unit and the space. This space cannot contain a friendly unit, but can contain an opponent unit in which it is captured. If the space was empty, then the unit may continue its movement by sliding in the indicated direction. This slide is blocked by other units and can be used to capture opponents as usual. This assassin jumps to this space, bypassing this unit, and then slides into the space with this unit and captures it. Remember to always flip the tile after use. This star symbol is the strike symbol. This allows a unit to capture an opponent's unit without moving. This longbowman can strike into these 2 spaces 2 and 3 spaces away. The strike is not blocked by other units, so this longbowman can choose to capture either the footman or the pikeman. After the strike, the tile is flipped, remaining in the same space. The final icon you'll encounter is the command icon. Command icons allow one unit to move an allied unit within his command area. For example, this duke is in danger of dying to this ranger next round. He can't capture the ranger himself because the footman behind him would capture him instead. The general can't capture the ranger to remove the threat because it doesn't have a move into that space. Instead, the general can use his command ability to save his duke. The general can command this footman within his command area to go to any other space within his command area, so he can move the footman to here, blocking the ranger's path to the duke. The footman is not flipped when it moves, but the general is, since it was the unit used. Commands can be used to capture. In this case, the opposing champion has the duke threatened. None of the nearby pieces can move to capture the champion, but the general can command either the footman or the duke himself to capture the champion. The general is then flipped. Play will continue back and forth, with each player taking one action, until one player has captured the other player's duke. And that's most of what you need to know to play the duke. I'm going to end the video explaining the function of the Enchanted Tiles, and make you aware of other ways to play the game provided in the box. First, Enchanted Tiles are recognized by their double border, and their special power is referenced here with a Roman numeral. Each refers you to this reference card explaining what they do. The Duchess has the power to be summoned. A player activates the Duke by flipping him over, but doesn't move him. Instead, he summons the Duchess to any space adjacent to him. The summoned piece does not get flipped in this movement. This move cannot be used to capture, so if all the spaces adjacent to the Duke are occupied, then he may not summon the Duchess. This is the Oracle. You'll notice that its non-starting side has no movement at all. If the Oracle is used while on this side, it is flipped as per usual, and then the player adds a new unit to the board from his bag. Except this time, he's able to draw 3 tiles from the bag and pick which one he'd like to add. Each of the other tiles may be set aside as if captured, or returned to the bag to be drawn later. Other tiles given in the game provide all sorts of variants you can play. This mountain can be placed on a random spot on the board. It can't be moved onto, jumped over, or even strike actions are blocked if they would pass through the mountain space. This is the dragon. This will start in the middle of the board facing one of the sides. It will take its turn in between each players, but only if it can move to kill a unit. If it can kill more than one, randomly figure which unit is attacked. When the dragon moves, it does not get flipped. A player may enrage the dragon by sliding or jump sliding into the space with the dragon. In such case, that player flips the dragon, moves him one space in the direction of the slide, and rotates him 90 degrees in the direction of their choosing. On its next turn, the dragon will kill 2 units within its large strike range. Randomly pick the 2 targets if more than 2 exist. After killing any units, it is returned to its normal state and rotated randomly to face either side again. These flag tiles offer another way to victory in a simple capture the flag style. These rules and all sorts of other variants are given in the rulebook. And with that, you are welcome to enjoy the Duke in whatever way you choose. The game also comes with blank tiles and sheet with stickers, so you can create your own. If you have any questions, please post them in the comments below, and I'll gladly answer them as soon as I can. Enjoy your game!